I am glad to be seated here once more time. And as I promised that the next couple of videos that I was going to post on this channel were going to be all about university life, because I felt that God granted me the grace to step my feet into university and actually be able to talk about what I'm about to start sharing. So the first part of the video, or should I say what, today I'm deciding to talk first of all about myself, because I want to talk about me, my challenges, my struggles at university before I talk about any other things that I experienced, because I had my own things going on at a time as well. So I'll try to make it as short as I possibly can so that it doesn't, come so long. So I'll try to cut it at least under 5 minutes. Depends on how I'll edit the video anyway. So I applied to come to university in the year 2017, and by God's grace I was granted the grace whereby I was accepted at 5 different universities as well. So I ended up coming to Birmingham to study criminology and security studies, which I was all very excited, all very happy for. And little did I know, I was just gonna face my own challenges and stuff. So on getting to university, one of the first challenges that I faced was finance. I'm sure a lot of us can agree. If you've been to uni or if you've lived a student life, you'll understand what I mean by finance. Most students understand what I'm talking about. So if you're making an application to the student finance for the first time, you'd basically have to send them all your original document like ID, such as passport, resident permit card, all those bits and pieces, just so that they can get everything into the system. And it takes roughly about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks for everything to actually be completed. So I did everything for me. I had help at college at that time, one of the teachers that I was helping with everything. We managed to sort out everything. The final part was that I needed to send the document to the student finance. So I was like, okay, cool. The documents were at home. I took them over from my mom and then posted them. The unfortunate part is that I waited 4 weeks. I waited 6 weeks. Past 6 weeks, I was still waiting. And they didn't get back to me. So I started thinking, what are the ways in which I can contact the students? Contact them. I managed to get them on the phone. Luckily, I knew my reference number for the application. And I was like, I've sent my documents to you. It's been this and that. It's been like over 6 weeks already, and I've not gotten them back because I need them in order for me to get induction, in order for my registration of university to go through, like when I start uni. And they were like, we don't have your documents. And I'm thinking, if they're not with you, who are they with? Where are they? Because clearly they were sent first class in the post. Do you understand what I'm saying? My documents were sent first class in the post, and the student finance were basically confirming to me that they've double checked, they don't have my documents with them. For me, that was already like a downfall, because the whole application process was difficult. So without stretching the story, I ended up coming to university by God's grace. And by God's grace, I have a praying family, so we prayed over everything, and by faith, let's just say we took a leap of faith. We packed my things. I was dropped off at university and everybody left, and that was the beginning of my journey. It was hard, it was painful. I still remember when everybody left, I cried and I said, Lord, where am I going from here? You and I don't even know each other like that. You and I don't have a relationship. You and I barely understand each other. Maybe you do, but I don't. What am I gonna do? You're gonna have to get me through uni. If you're the same God that permitted me to leave my father's house to come out here, then I trust you. The little trust I have left for you is for you to get me through. Through to uni. Sis, at uni, they said to me, I need my original documents. I started writing emails, writing letters, making phone calls. It was hard, but during the first month, the first and second month, which is September and October of 2017, I learned to write, I learned to communicate, I learned to send emails, I learned to do all these bits and pieces because there was nobody there. I'm not saying that there was no one to necessarily help me, but I found myself in this boat standing. and I needed to do what needed to be done in order for this thing to succeed, if you know what I mean. I ended up going to university, very sad inside. I said to the lecturer, I said, please, I don't have any documents with me. So I said that I lost my documents, I've only got copies of this and that. And he was like, I'm sorry, but we can't accept this. We need original documents, or we need a letter from the Home Office to at least confirm to us that your documents are being processed, or you will get replacement, anything, as long as it's a letter from the Home Office. And I'm thinking, you know, with the Home Office, they take long to get back to anybody. It's not like your own case is different from other people's cases. So I kept on calling, I kept on sending emails, and by God's grace, about 3-4 months later, so that's almost December, to be very honest, I received a letter from them saying that, okay, cool, yeah, it's in process, they will get me my documents and stuff like that, which still kind of took long. I went to university, told my lecturer, I said, look, here's a letter, please can I at least start attending classes? It's just by God's grace that that lecturer, I don't know, he was our module like course leader. Yeah, course leader. So he said to me, okay, I need you to meet me like at a particular time. So I met him, and he said to me, okay, I'm gonna write you a letter which you will take to every class. If they ask you why you're not on the register or attendance, anything to do with attendance, just show them this note. Well, it wasn't even a letter, it was actually a note. Show it to your lecturers, and then you take it from there. If you have any difficulties, then email me or come to my office. These are the opening hours, you know, those kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. So by the time I started attending uni, everybody had made friends, everybody already had a sitting position in class. I didn't have any friend. I didn't know where to sit. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how university. Most of the times, like, I'll get to class, I don't know where to sit. I don't know who to say hi to, because everybody was already either in twos, in threes, or in a group, and I didn't know how to go about it. And I think that part that used to break my heart a lot, even the thought of having to think that, oh God, I have university tomorrow. I used to get so much pain in my heart because I didn't know how to. Growing up as a child, I was less vocal. I wouldn't really communicate like that quite a lot. I don't know why it was, but I just never spoke much in a way. So making friends or being like out there has never really been me. In other words, as the world would call it, I'm an introvert. Although I wanted someone to talk to, I wanted to sit next to somebody, I wanted to be in a group, you know, contributing to the what do you call it, classwork, those kind of stuff, which I never really. By like December, I just wanted to go home. I wanted to call it a quit. I wanted to go home. I was ready to return back home where I was used to being, where I was used to talking to people, where I was used to being, to people communicating with me, because uni thing wasn't working for me. Not only that, I was still getting pressured at uni by other lecturers. Really and truly, you should be on the register. I'm like, I've shown you the note. If you have a problem with it, I can go home. You know, I came to that point whereby I was like, okay, cool. If they ask me why I'm not on the register, I show them the note, and they just sort of whatever. I'm like, I'm just ready to go home. I don't mind going home and just staying at home. That's one. And two, the student finance had not paid for my university at all. Even, what do you call it, I can't even remember, the university accommodation had not been paid for. And I was already at uni September, October, November and December, about to cross over to January. It was hard. It was depressing. Every single time I'm passing by the reception, any receptionist that's sitting there, they have to stop me and be like, we're still waiting. Every single week I'll get emails from the accommodation people. They're like, by this day I didn't really want to stress my mom, my dad, as well as my siblings in general. I didn't want to stress them, or me thinking that I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to let them down in a way, because we all worked hard for me to be at uni. Every one of us, each one of us in my family, we worked so hard for me to really have come out here that I'm coming for uni, and then 4 months later for me to go home and say that this and that didn't work for me, was just like, Lord, you're gonna have to find another way to do this, because I can't do this. I can't pass by the receptionist, well, by the reception, without the receptionist people stopping me. Every time, if they don't say anything to me while I'm passing by, they'll send me an email. That means that even the university was also emailing me saying how, well, reminding me to make a payment, or they would have to stop me from attending the course. Everything was hard. This was the beginning of my depression. This was the beginning of stress. I never knew what these things meant until everything started crashing in front of me. The last thing you want is to worry your loved ones as well. I think that's the heart that I have as well. I try to be as calm as I possibly can, regardless of what I'm going through, because I know that we all need help, but I would seek help from those that I feel that I need help from. For example, say if things start getting a bit too much, I would call my dad or my mom. I'll be like, this is what's going on. They'll pray with me or for me, and then I feel better. You know what I mean? Then not even better, but I would remain hopeful no matter what it is that I'm going through. So that's when I started suffering with depression and anxiety, and majority of the times I'll just sleep, because that's what I knew how to do best, because I was stopped from attending uni. I couldn't pass by the reception. The student finance was not saying anything, so everything was stuck for me. And I didn't want to return home. I didn't want to feel like a disappointment. I didn't want to feel like I've let me down, because I've always wanted to go to university. I didn't want to feel like I've let my family down, if you know what I mean, because we all worked so hard. Everybody did their part in my application process to come to uni. So I really wanted to do this because I had a team right behind me. I had a team praying with me and for me. I didn't just want to call it a quit instantly like that. So I was just sleeping majority of the times. I wouldn't really eat, and I would only go like anytime whereby it's like 10 p.m, 11 p.m, midnight. Then I'll go out for a walk, a bit of fresh air. By like 1-2 a.m, I come back in, I go in the blanket and I sleep. This was how it all started. As I was crying carelessly. It's like you don't choose to cry, but you just feel this pain. It used to feel as though somebody just held my heart and was just squeezing it without letting go. I couldn't breathe at times. It was I don't want this for anyone. I don't ever wish this for anybody at all, because I hated it. I don't even want to remember deeply or in details of how everything felt like, because I hated it and I really struggled from it. And I have to be honest, this is the time where the whole thing turned from being physical to spiritual in a way, because many a times I'll only be at peace when I'm not doing anything. Like I'll be sleeping and sleeping and sleeping and not doing anything. Other times, even the energy to wake up and go. I know that, yeah, I'm going through this and that, but how possible is it that I'm sleeping the whole entire day and the only time that I have energy is the night time? Like I'll sleep the whole entire day, then in the night time I'll go out for a walk for fresh air, and then I would come back in, I would sleep the whole entire day again. And not only that, I started feeling as though every time I want to like wake up to probably try to do something positive in my life, I'd feel as though there's something inside of me that's so heavy, that's telling me, not even vocally, but it's just not letting me do anything. It would be so heavy in my legs, in my stomach, in my heart, everywhere. Like I just could not wake up to do anything. So with this whole depression and stress thing, it begins with a situation. If you don't follow it up with prayer, even therapy, even counseling, even like a conversation with somebody else, it all turns very spiritual. This is when the devil comes. Yeah. Although my situation was getting worse and worse by day, I'll be very honest with you, there was a thing in me, there was this firm little belief in me that God will come through at some point. He'll come through when he's ready. One thing I knew I didn't want to do is to call it a quit from my own mouth. I didn't want to use my tongue to call it a quit. because I had come too far already to turn back. That's how I was feeling at the time. And I had dreams, and I wanted to make my family proud. I really wanted to know, I really wanted them to know that all the encouragement, the boost and the prayers, you know, I wanted to bring a fresh fruit, if you know what I mean. I didn't want to call it a quit. It was so the time that I started struggling like deeply with depression. I started, like, my colleagues would say to me, because most times, well, most nights they would go out. Even if we have uni the following day, trust me, they're gonna go out. They started convincing me, you should come to the club with us. You should try drinking a little bit and forget about your situations. You should try smoking. We do drugs. Look, it doesn't do anything to us. You know, those kind of influence. And I was like, to be honest, these guys, they don't even believe in God, but their lives are way better than mine. They go to uni. They don't have issues financially. They're doing okay. Why is my own case different? Do you understand? Never. Thank God. I give God the glory once again. I thank him for his grace and mercy upon my life. I would think through these things like, why can't I just chill for once? Why can't I go out? Why can't I drive? The pressure was getting real. But every single time I promised these girls and I planned to go out with them, that day I would sleep like no one's business. I would sleep, even if I set an alarm, I won't hear it. I would just go into this deep sleep, and I just won't remember anything. The only thing I would remember is the dreams. And every single time during that season, when I go to sleep, I would dream about deep. Well, now I said deeper because I know now, by the grace of God, the things that I was seeing at that time. Depression, or this was the beginning of my depression, was me not being able to start university on time because of my documents that got lost in the post. The student finance was not released, and I had not paid for my student accommodation. So all these emails that kept on coming week in, week out were really depressing me, to the point where everybody had started uni. I had nobody to talk to. Everything was just, I just felt really lonely, like extremely lonely. And not only that, but also they dismissed me from uni, which I never mentioned to anybody. I'm bold enough to talk about it now because thank God it's over. But I was dismissed from uni because of finance that was not paid. My course was not paid for in time, as well as my documents were not valid. So I'm glad to answer it, or to answer them in depth. This is just a little summary. I've not spoken everything in details, but this is a summary of the things that I kind of struggled with. Not kind of, but the things that I struggled with when I first came to university. I pray that somehow, through God's grace, you'll be blessed by what I've shared today. And I still have a lot more to share. Today I just wanted to give a little summary of myself, and then next time I'll talk about other things step by step. I know I also mentioned about the dreams that I used to have at uni, which I'm going to talk to us about, and so much more. May the Lord bless you, and by God's grace I pray to be on your screens back soon.